Hey, there you are. Thank you for letting me come back by. And thank you for your overwhelming support and messages on Amy L. Boulding Live, my YouTube channel. So, we talked about the things that come with loving a man who has never been properly loved before. Well, today I thought I would talk about those who are trying to love a woman who has maybe never been loved properly and what that can look like. And how sometimes when a woman has been through trying to learn what love should look like without having maybe a father figure or even a mother figure, or maybe never seeing a relationship in her life. I know a lot of really good women who are very well established and distinguished in their life, but then they have trouble in their love life. And a part of that is because when you don't have certain things as a woman, you just learn how to make it. That's kind of what we're good for, right? You give us the house, we make a home. You give us the food, we make dinner. Well, you give us something that we have to learn to survive through, and sometimes we build walls. So some of you wonderful men are out here trying to love those of us women who may have very high walls that you've been trying to scale for years, or you're just not understanding the way that we are needing love to show up for us, because maybe you've come from a situation where love was safe and it was genuine and there wasn't a lot to run from. But maybe you're trying to love a woman who has never been shown safety and who's never understood trust. And maybe she's had to figure out all on her own. And with that, you end up with usually two types of women. And there's more. And women, I'm probably going to get a lot of feedback from this. But I'm just trying to be real here. And some of that breeds hyper independence, meaning that even when a man is trying to just help you let down your guard a little bit, to give you some love and some genuine affection, we tend to say we need to protect ourselves because what if? And in that, we don't even know how to get lost in the moment with them. And we start wanting guarantees, and we start wanting all these things that really all that is a scream and a cry for safety. Or you get the other one who becomes very clingy and very afraid that they're going to do something wrong and lose the love of their man. And so they become almost hyper mommified, if you will. And so they want to make sure every single need is met. You know, the laundry's done, the dishes are done, that they're taking care of you. And to be real, women, sometimes it's not the mommy in you that men need. And then you get upset because you're like, I've done everything to take care of him and he's still, decided to go somewhere else or do something else. I'm not condoning wronging somebody. Please hear me. What I'm telling you is that sometimes for women who have been brought up in situations that may not help them see or feel what love is, we will reject it in a number of ways. And it takes a certain type of man to say, I'm going to stand beside her and I'm going to help her get through these walls and I'm going to help her see what she's not seeing within herself. And let me tell you something. It takes one heck of a person to stand by somebody while they're healing. And I discussed that in my first video. And here's the other ugly truth about that. The person that you're standing beside to help heal and walk them through the journey and give them this unconditional, real love, you may not be the one who ends up with them. You may just be their teacher. You may be their guide. You may be the person. And then that's where we as adults get upset sometimes because we're like, I did all this for that person. I stood by them and they did this or they went off with this other person. You know, the thing about love and the thing about relationships is we find more of ourselves when we're in a relationship than when we're alone. And so some people say, well, I'd rather be by myself. I'd rather just go figure it out on my own. Relationships suck. They hurt. They're unfair. But I'm going to tell you something. Going and diving into yourself where you think nobody's watching because it's safe, because you're not going to hurt you, because you are not wanting to feel emotion or you're not wanting to go through growing pains of evolving. That's not... You don't get there and then go find somebody else and then they're going to make it safe for you. You're continuing to stay where you're at in a safe place with yourself, which is going to inhibit growth. And so when you go out into the world, you find a relationship and you catch feelings again, that person is going to pull things out in you that you're not going to pull out by yourself. You're not going to challenge yourself by yourself. So, back to what I'm saying here, guys. If you want to love a woman who maybe hasn't had a father figure, maybe hasn't had a mother figure, maybe hasn't grew up in a traditional family, maybe doesn't have brothers or sisters, maybe went through the trenches as a kid, maybe lost a lot of things along the way, she has learned to protect herself. And sometimes it takes a lot to get her out of that. And sometimes she'll never get out of that. And the truth is, you've got to love yourself enough to know when is enough. And you have to love yourself enough to know if she's worth the fight. That's something only you can tell yourself. But again, there's two types of women. The one that will pull away from you and say, I can figure this out on my own. I got this. And what she really needs you to do is just to hold her close and pull her back into your arms and show her where true safety is. And I know some of you men are saying, look, I've tried, but when she gets in that mood, I just leave her alone. That's probably the time you need not to leave her alone. And even if she doesn't want you in her presence, let her know you're still there. Even if that is a text that says, I know you don't want to be with me in my arms right now, which is where I want you to be, but know that I'm still holding a space for you. I know. You're like, why should we have to do that? Why does she have to be so hard-headed? Why can't she just... Being emotionally available and continuing to pull yourself into more emotional maturity is not for the weak. It's not for the faint at heart. And some people don't have to do it. You can go out there and pretend that you can find somebody who's 100% fixed. Good luck with that. Because if they're evolving, they're always going to meet new parts of themselves. And so, I'm just telling you, there's a lot of really good women that come with a lot of gnarly scars. And in those gnarly scars are opportunities to love. It's also a good challenge for you as a man to show your complete vulnerability to love somebody who can be a wreck at times and to also be the hero in their eyes. And I'll say this from someone who knows. When you learn to love a woman like that and you show her that you keep showing up for her over and over, you're teaching her the calm kind of love and not the crazy kind of love. And in that, she's going to trust you. And when a woman who has never known a safe love starts to trust you, you've met a woman who will never leave your side. You've met a woman who will always love and appreciate you and respect you the way that men deserve to be respected. But a lot of times we want this instant stuff and expect respect just because you're just a man. And truthfully, they may be in awe of who you are as a person, but for a woman to respect a man, it's got to be earned. And a woman always wants to feel wanted, even when she's the hardest to love. And I know what you're saying. I don't want to want her when she's acting like that. But the truth is, you and your love can help balance her if you want to stick through it. And like I've told the women about a man who's unhealed, I'll say the same thing about a man who's trying to love a woman who's going through her healing. It's not for everybody. So instead of badgering one another and just choose to say yes or no to it. But don't be mad at the person for getting through who they are. You're either going to stand there with them or you're not. I'll make more to this. There's so much to say, but thank you. And I love you, and you're wonderful. And relationshiping isn't easy at all. People outgrow one another. This thing goes on and on and on. But what I will say is, there are fabulous people if you stay by them long enough to get through the growing pains. All right. Your favorite cookies are on the table, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.